Let's talk about Taylor Frankie Paul and how family is used as a weapon on the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I talked about the show last season. I said that some of the pillars were religion, control, feminism, and this sort of intense look at the pressure that the Mormon church is placing on all of these women, right? It's interesting, fascinating, but also deeply dark because these women are so young and like they're mothers and wives and like sort of trying to find themselves under these like very intense pressures that the church is putting on them. And this season, we're seeing something interesting. Last season, I said that one of the few ways that Taylor could rebel against the church and her family was by refusing to marry Dakota, right? It was an explicit assertion of her own agency that she was like, this is my money, this is my life, I'm not gonna marry this fucking loser. And this season, Dakota is just proving that he is like a wretch. He is a creature from the Black Lagoon. He is a monster and like actively decaying in front of us. And I was just like, queen. Like, I'm sorry, you guys are gonna come for me, whatever. Taylor is queen. I'm obsessed with her. Like, that is mother. I felt such empathy and like pain for her when I watched the episode with her family. I think her family is using the idea of family as a weapon, right? And they're using it to control her because they want her to stay with this guy who's like in active addiction, just like actively fucking up. And obviously, he's not a bad person because he's an addict. He's a bad person regardless of the fact that he's an addict, right? He is cheating on her and lying and like sleeping with other girls and like lying. And her family is like, well, you have a baby, you have to stay with him, right? The idea that she is very successful, she is on a show, she's making all of this money doesn't matter because under the tenets of the church, she has to belong to a man, right? Like, we learned from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City that like with my queen Brittany, who's obsessed with men, right? Like, if you are not married to a man or attached to a man, you can't like get into heaven or what. I don't know, obviously I'm not Mormon, I don't know the exact like rule or what the law or church says, but like it is very, very clear from the way that these women speak and interact with one another and my research on sex on Housewives of Salt Lake City that like there is something very specific about the need to be married, right? Taylor is choosing to not enter into this covenant with this guy. She's like, this guy sucks, I don't want to be attached to him for the rest of my life, I already have a baby. And like the way that her family terrorized her and actively was fucking with her because she refused to like tie herself to this man forever was so hard to watch. There is something sort of radical about Taylor where she does the same thing that like Jax does on Vanderpump Rules, where she has like radical accountability, where every time someone confronts her, she's like, yeah, I said that. And watching her is really interesting because I obviously am not a doctor. I don't know what exactly is going on, but like we can see that something just like takes over her when she gets mad and she like loses it. And it is great TV and it is great to watch on reality television. I don't know how good it is for her real life, right? Obviously, she was arrested last year or 2 years ago because she like attacked her man. But I do see someone who is like actively trying to like take control of their life and change their life and like is really pulled in by this like spiral of self-loathing. And it is really, really heartbreaking to see on TV, right? I think this season is doing something interesting by leading us into the like very intense mental health struggles that some of these women are having, right? Like Taylor Frankie Paul and her like self-loathing, Macy's issues, or not Macy, Michaela's issues with her skin and like how she feels about herself because of her chronic condition. And then obviously Jen Affleck having to stop filming because she was like intense pre-partum depression. A lot of these women are trapped in really bad situations and they like can't see it or acknowledge it or like know, right? The metaphor that I always use in situations like this is like sometimes you are the frog in the pot and you don't realize that the water is boiling because you are the frog, right? When I talk about age gap relationships, you are not physically able to acknowledge how fucked up it is because you're still in it. And I don't think that these women will ever like acknowledge it or clock it. Like Taylor is sort of clocking it by saying, I'm not going to marry this guy. Like, I'm not going to give him access to my money. I don't want to be attached to him. But like a lot of these other women are not able to like break free of these situations because they are married and because they have kids, right? Instead of like marriage and motherhood being this thing that like saves them, it is the thing that is trapping them and it is imprisoning them. And it is very, very, very scary and hard to watch.